Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Real-Time Fishing and Real-Time Custom Rods Rod Shop. I'm going to try to do a fade Chevron wrap 4-axis. We're going to see how this comes out. I've got everything marked out. Every quarter I did all 4 axes on this. And we're going to get it laid out and start there. I'm going to work it down from these colors right here. I'm going to go from this color and gradually fade it to this red. So that's what I got. So y'all stay tuned while I get this all set up and start wrapping, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm getting rolling here. I took a lot of time getting my layout just right. And I'm using A thread, size A, which is very, very thin compared to what I'm used to. But A gives you a lot better look. A real finer look on the thread when you get through. It's just a basic chevron to get started, just down on top, back on bottom. This will be 4 passes. Of this color. And since I'm doing a 4-ax chevron, I basically have to do everything twice. So again, I take my time, make sure everything is looking as good as I can. Because now is the time to do it. And thread tension is kind of an acquired feel. Hard to explain that when it's, you just got to get the tension where the strings are laying properly. They're not too tight. It's a little slow when the thread is so thin to see the chevron forming. Like I said, I've never really used size A before, but I went to the International Rod Builder Show this past weekend, and that's what everybody tends to wrap on, mostly. It seems, at least the people I talk to. Just because it's more decorative, but so I won't bore you folks with me just wrapping threads, so I'm going to probably speed things up a little bit. Crank the music up a little bit and speed things up for you. So y'all stay tuned. Okay, I'm starting with the second color now. Let's do one wrap a bit up and down on both axes. So it's just kind of a progression you do. Start with a color, and you step it down and step up other colors. And now I started with 4 of these number 17 blues, greenish blue. It's a Fuji color. Then I went with 1 of the next color. Now I'm going back with 3. Okay, I'm doing the next color. And I'm stepping it up 1. This is a little darker blue. And I'm doing 2 passes on this. You can see it starting to, I'm sure it doesn't show up on the camera. I can see it starting to form the little chevron. Like I said, with this A thread, it's pretty small. Talked to a lot of rod builders over the weekend at the rod show, like I say, and they talk about how fast they can do some of these wraps. People would ask them questions, how long it take you to do something, and they would say, I don't know how they do them that fast. I guess it's like anything, the more you do it, the better you get, and the more efficient you get. If I rush it, I'll mess it up. It's as simple as that. Going with the next color. Once you get that base layer laid out, you get it right, things tend to fall into place a little easier if you're just going to what you did previous. Just double check everything. I think that's why I like rod building so much. It forces me to slow down. For a person that tends to be a bit impatient, it forces me to slow down and to get it right. And I've got all this written down, folks. I don't know if you can even decipher this. Here it is right here. And it's just a chart you go by. And I've got my string numbers on the far left, the passes I make with those strings across the top, 1 through 12, and the number of strings I put on each pass, and I mark them off as I go. And right now I'm on pass 3, so I'm doing 1 of the string 17. Hope that's not too confusing, but I got it straight out of a Billy Bavono's book. I'm sure there's other places maybe you can get them, I don't know. It's a pretty standard way of doing it, from my understanding. I may be doing my tension a little tight. I need to lighten up on it. Thread, if you feel the stretch in your thread, indication you may be pulling it too tight. Got a little different camera angle today. Hope it's focusing okay on this. Sometimes these GoPros will focus on the background or something in the background, so I try to put this white paper towel down and not give it anything to focus on. I don't know if that's helping or hurting. I don't know when I get through, I guess. Okay, I've started another color. Again, it's just a slight variation of these blues and greens. So I've started with one wrap of that. Okay, you can see this chevron taking place really good. I like these elongated chevrons where it's pointing a little bit sharper. And this fade is starting to happen a little bit. I'm just anxious to see how it's going to end up. Okay, next step here. That's a 3. I said there's not a whole lot to talk about during these videos. There's just a formula you kind of go to step the colors up to another color. Fading one out and fading the other one in. That's why I'm fast forwarding through a lot of this. Introducing a new color to the fade. This is a darker blue. Okay, I'm introducing the red. It's actually a burgundy. I toned it down a little bit. And the idea is this will be one pass of this, then we'll go back and put a couple of passes of some of the other ones. And you'll eventually have 4 passes of this red. Okay, I'm going back with 3 strands of this red again. Okay, here's the last run. It has closed in pretty good. I think my red kind of got influenced by the blue, and everybody knows red and blue makes purple, so I got a little bit more of a purple look than I really wanted, but yeah, it looks pretty good as far as that goes. Just to give everybody an idea how long it's taken me to wrap this. I've been at it, there's a darn knot in my line right there and it won't lay good. I didn't even see that when I did it. I started this wrap about, I don't know, 9 or 9, including layout, you know, about probably 8:45. I got out here about 8:30, 8:45. Hadn't laid anything out, and that takes a while. Wrote down the chart that I used, and you want to, like this, you want to cross everything up off as you do it. I just finished the 4th one there. That way, if you get interrupted, you'll know where you were. But anyway, I got out here about, I don't know, 8:30, 8:45. I did take a break at lunch, which I normally don't, but I just wanted to get my eyes a rest for probably 30 or 40 minutes. And it is now 3 o'clock, almost on the dot. So I guess from layout to take the lunch away and whatnot, it's taken me about 5.5 hours. And I hadn't done the epoxy yet, of course. I'll put some color preserver on it. What that does, it seals everything really good. It takes about an hour for that to dry. Then I'll put the epoxy on it so it can sit overnight. Color preserver also gets any air. These strings are crossed so much, they get air in them, and air causes problems with epoxy. So that's it. Spinning around this, kind of see how it looks. Hard to get you. Final step, this is actually the second coat of putting on the epoxy. And I put this under power, going fairly fast. And of course I'll use very, very thin coats. Then of course I will, once I get all this on another thin coat, I will put it on the dryer, which is about, I think it's 9 RPMs per minute, or 9 RPMs. This gives this epoxy a good chance to get level. I'll stop and just do some horizontal strokes on it. There's a trick to epoxy, and you've got to get it level. I first started, I'll have these real rough up and down feelings, but I was putting it on way too thick, and I don't worry too much about fuzzies at this point or stick-ups, because this is just the second coat of a very thin coat, but I will make sure it's good and wet everywhere. I will go this around kind of slow. There's a little dry spot right there, so I'll make sure it gets some epoxy on it. And when you put these decorative wraps on, I've mentioned it before, I have a real small hand vacuum cleaner. My wife actually bought it for her car, but it's not powerful enough to do a car. It was a real inexpensive handheld deal, but it's ideal for this. I can get the dirt, the dust. Dust is a big problem. Epoxy is a funny thing. It's excuse me. It's I guess it's prejudice. It doesn't like anything not like it in the mix. So if you get any kind of a dust particle or anything, it will not accept it. No, I shouldn't say that. That's not what it's all about, but that's the problem. It's hard to control.